New research and independent testing has detected probable carcinogens and allergen ingredients in the top most popular brands of baby shampoos. Today we're exposing the 8 brands you must avoid in 2026 and the 2 that are actually dermatologically safe.
The entire commercial premise of baby shampoo rests on a single promise, that it will not make your infant cry. This promise has a name. It has been printed on every bottle of Johnson's baby shampoo manufactured since 1954. 3 words, no more tears, that have defined not just a product, but an entire category's relationship with parental trust. What the formula actually means is a lower surfactant concentration and a pH calibrated to reduce eye irritation. Not a guarantee of freedom from carcinogen-releasing preservatives. Not a certification of allergen-free formulation. Not a standard verified by any independent regulatory body. The no more tears claim is a statement about what the product will not do to infant eyes. It says nothing about what the product contains, or what those contents may do to infant skin, infant hair follicles, or the systems that process whatever absorbs through both. In 2011, the Campaign for Safe Cosmetics published a report titled, "Baby's Tub is Still Toxic." It documented that Johnson's baby shampoo sold in the United States, Canada, and Australia contained quaternium-15, a preservative that kills bacteria by releasing formaldehyde, classified as a known human carcinogen by the National Toxicology Program. Under the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the identical product, under the identical Johnson's brand name, sold in Denmark, Finland, Japan, the Netherlands, Norway, South Africa, Sweden, and the United Kingdom contained no quaternium-15. Same company, same brand name, 2 different formulas. The determining variable was geography. The baby shampoo category was built on the idea that the tierless formula represented a higher standard of care, a commitment calibrated to the vulnerability of the consumer. The evidence assembled here suggests a different reading. Most baby shampoos are not formulated to a higher safety standard than adult shampoos. They are formulated to a lower irritation threshold for the eyes. Those are not the same thing, and the distance between them is where the following 8 brands operate. These are not allegations. Every claim in this script traces to a named scientific journal, a federal regulatory document, a congressional record, or a publicly filed corporate document. The products are on shelves. The evidence has been available for years. The first brand is the one that built the entire category's vocabulary of trust. Johnson's Baby No More Tears shampoo, now manufactured by Kenvue following Johnson & Johnson's consumer health spin-off, listed on the NYSE under the ticker KVUE in May 2023, has been the default parental choice since 1954. Its marketing premise is gentle, simple, and backed by 7 decades of brand recognition. The bottle retails between $7 and $9. Yet, from at least 2009 through 2014, the U.S. formulation contained quaternium-15, a preservative that releases formaldehyde, a compound the National Toxicology Program classifies as a known human carcinogen. The Campaign for Safe Cosmetics 2011 report confirmed that the identical product sold across 8 other countries and 3 continents contained no quaternium-15. J&J had already removed it from those markets. It remained in the U.S. formulation until sustained public pressure and a coalition of 25 environmental, medical, and parental organizations produced a formal corporate commitment in November 2011. Reformulation was completed by 2013, not in response to a regulatory mandate, but in response to a boycott campaign. In 2011, the Campaign for Safe Cosmetics published a report titled, "Baby's Tub is Still Toxic." It documented that Johnson's baby shampoo sold in the United States, Canada, and Australia contained quaternium-15, a preservative that kills bacteria by releasing formaldehyde, classified as a known human carcinogen by the National Toxicology Program under the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. The identical product, under the identical Johnson's brand name, sold in Denmark, Finland, Japan, the Netherlands, Norway, South Africa, Sweden, and the United Kingdom contained no quaternium-15. Same company, same brand name. 2 different formulas. The determining variable was geography. In 2019, independent testing by the Citizen Campaign for the Environment detected 870 parts per billion of 1,4-dioxane in the Johnson's baby shampoo formulation. The EPA classifies 1,4-dioxane as likely carcinogenic to humans. It does not appear on the ingredients label because it is a manufacturing byproduct, not a declared ingredient. The verdict, no more tears, means the pH will not sting infant eyes. It is never certified that the product is free from compounds whose safety classification includes the word carcinogen. Brand 2, Dreft Baby Wash, Stage 1, Procter & Gamble. Dreft Baby Wash Stage 1 is marketed as the formula specifically engineered for newborn skin, a product whose name implies a standard of care absent from general market alternatives. It retails between $10 and $13. Yet 2019 independent testing by the Citizen Campaign for the Environment detected 1,4-dioxane at 10,000 parts per billion in the Dreft Baby Wash Stage 1 formulation, the highest concentration of any baby product in the study. 10,000 parts per billion equals 10 parts per million, the precise ceiling New York State's consumer product regulation establishes for cosmetics. Dreft tested at the legal limit of the only state with a mandatory standard. The 1,4-dioxane forms as a byproduct of ethoxylation, the manufacturing process used to produce sodium lauryl sulfate and related foaming agents present in this formulation. It is classified by the EPA as likely carcinogenic to humans and by the National Toxicology Program as reasonably anticipated to be a human carcinogen. It does not appear on the product label because federal law does not require disclosure of manufacturing byproducts, only intentional ingredients. Procter & Gamble, which reported net sales of $84.0 billion in its fiscal year 2024 annual report, has access to vacuum stripping, a standard manufacturing process that removes 1,4-dioxane from ethoxylated ingredients before formulation. The verdict: Stage 1 communicates developmental appropriateness. It does not disclose that the product tested at the legal ceiling for a probable human carcinogen in the only jurisdiction that has set one.
Baby Magic Hair and Body Wash carries decades of American pharmacy heritage, a name that has been on shelves since 1947, functioning as a heritage signal to parents whose own parents used it. The bottle retails between $3 and $5. Yet the same 2019 independent testing detected 1,4-dioxane at 7,600 parts per billion in the Baby Magic formulation, behind Dreft alone. Baby Magic is manufactured by Natera International. The formulation relies on ethoxylated surfactants that generate 1 to 4-dioxane as a manufacturing byproduct. New York State's 10 ppm cosmetics limit translates to 10,000 ppb. Baby Magic tested at 7,600 ppb. 76% of that ceiling. The low unit price does not create a safety premium. In the same 2019 test, products priced significantly higher produced lower levels. Price and contamination level bear no reliable relationship. The variable is the surfactant chemistry selected. The verdict: a heritage brand name on a formulation that produced the second highest carcinogen byproduct load of any baby product in the only independent study to test this category. Sesame Street Baby Wash, sold primarily through Dollar Tree, deploys licensed character recognition from one of the most trusted children's media institutions to sell a product tested at 2,100 ppb. The product costs under $2. The Sesame Workshop is a non-profit whose programming has defined childhood development since 1969. Its licensing operation is a separate commercial function. It transfers the cultural credibility built across 5 decades onto products whose formulations the workshop plays no role in verifying. The characters earn trust in a studio, but the bottle contains a probable human carcinogen. The verdict: you are buying access to a non-profit's educational legacy on a bottle whose formulation that non-profit had no hand in designing and no obligation to verify. Aveeno Baby Gentle Wash and Shampoo, also manufactured by Kenvue, is positioned as the sensitive skin solution, an oat-based formula carrying the Dermatologist recommended endorsement. Yet the primary cleansing agent is cocamidopropyl betaine, abbreviated CAPB. In 2004, the American Contact Dermatitis Society named CAPB Contact Allergen of the Year. The publication appeared in the journal Dermatitis, authored by Joseph F. Fowler, MD. Sensitization prevalence for CAPB is estimated at 3.0 to 7.2%, according to follow-up studies. The most common site of CAPB-induced allergic dermatitis is the head and neck region, precisely where a baby wash is applied. The Contact Dermatitis Institute specifically lists Aveeno among products to avoid. The 2019 independent test detected no 1 to 4-dioxane in this product. It carries one documented risk in exchange for another. The packaging references the recommendation, but not the allergen designation. Protect the label you are reading. If you found this forensic investigation vital, hit the like button and subscribe for the next chapter in this series. Mustela, manufactured by Science, a French pharmaceutical and personal care company, is the most clinically positioned brand in this category. Prescribed in pediatric hospital wards and dermatology offices across Europe and the United States, priced to reflect that positioning. The Gentle Cleansing Gel retails between $15 and $20 per 6.7-ounce bottle, approximately $2.50 per ounce, a premium justified by pharmaceutical-grade oversight. Yet the 2019 independent testing detected 1,4-dioxane at 900 parts per billion in the Mustela Gentle Cleansing Gel formulation. 900 ppb is below New York State's 10 ppm cosmetics ceiling, and below the EU Scientific Committee on Consumer Safety's 10 ppm guideline. However, the EPA classifies 1,4-dioxane as likely carcinogenic to humans. The limits were established for general adult use, not newborn skin. Weights are measured in kilograms rather than tens of kilograms, across the first months of a developing system. Mustela produces lower concentrations than Baby Magic, but its presence at any detectable level is inconsistent with a $2.50 per ounce price premium built on the proposition that its standards exceed the market. The verdict: the pediatric clinical credentialing is real and earned. The detectable 1,4-dioxane is equally real, a precise illustration of what dermatologically tested does and does not mean. Baby Dove Rich Moisture Baby Wash, manufactured by Unilever, markets itself as hypoallergenic, pH neutral and milder than adult skin products, specifically formulated for skin that Unilever's own marketing describes as 5 times more sensitive than adult skin. The bottle retails between $5 and $8. Yet Baby Dove lists fragrance as a declared ingredient. Under FDA regulation, fragrance constitutes a single declaration that may legally represent hundreds of individual compounds. Their identities are protected as trade secrets under current U.S. law and require no individual disclosure to the parent reading the label. The European Union's cosmetics regulation requires manufacturers to individually name 26 specific fragrance allergens when present above defined thresholds. Unilever reported global revenues of €59.9 billion in 2024. It applies EU disclosure requirements in European markets because law mandates it. The US label lists fragrance because US law permits it. The verdict: hypoallergenic describes the pH and surfactants. It does not describe the fragrance component, whose chemical identity is protected by a statutory trade secret provision. The 8th entry is not a single product. It is a corporate pattern, and the company is Kenvue, the consumer health entity Johnson & Johnson spun off and listed on the NYSE. Listed under the ticker KVUE in May 2023, the company reported net sales of $15.4 billion in its first full year as an independent public company. Kenvue's baby care portfolio includes 2 brands already in this list, Johnson's Baby and Aveeno Baby, both manufactured by the same company, both carrying documented ingredient risks. And the mechanism that produced those risks, applying different safety standards based on the regulatory environment, is its most documented operating characteristic. From 2009 through 2014, J&J sold Johnson's Baby Shampoo in the United States with quaternium-15, a formaldehyde-releasing preservative whose carcinogen classification was not disputed, while selling a quaternium-15-free version of the same product across 8 other markets where regulatory or consumer pressure required the safer formulation. J&J's own November 2011 statement confirmed the company had already eliminated quaternium-15 in markets where it was compelled to do so. The US formulation retained it until 2013. Not because a safer alternative did not exist, but because no U.S. regulation required the upgrade. The Aveeno Baby formulation carries CAPB, the contact allergen of the year 2004, on a dermatologist-recommended label. The Johnson's formulation ran a formaldehyde releaser for years after European removal. The verdict: the most consequential finding is a company that held 2 simultaneous ingredient standards and applied the stricter one only where the law or public pressure left no alternative. Protect the label you are reading. If you found this forensic investigation into corporate standards vital, hit the like button and subscribe for more chapters in this series. 2 baby shampoo products tested in the same 2019 independent study returned no detectable 1,4-dioxane. Neither is manufactured by Kenvue, Procter & Gamble, or Unilever. The Honest Company Baby Shampoo Plus Body Wash was founded on a specific premise: that a baby product brand could publish its ingredient sourcing and safety standards as a commercial identity, not as a regulatory obligation. The product retails between $10 and $14. The Honest Company, listed on NASDAQ under the ticker HNST, publishes a restricted ingredient list on its website, identifying over 2,500 substances the company will not use in its formulations. This is a publicly accessible document, available before purchase and subject to ongoing update disclosure as a function of its public company obligations. The 2019 Citizen Campaign for the Environment independent testing detected no 1.4-dioxane in the Honest Company shampoo and body wash. The formulation avoids sodium lauryl sulfate and ethoxylated surfactant equivalents, the ingredient class responsible for 1,4-dioxane generation in the contaminated products in this list. The surfactant system uses plant-derived alternatives that do not undergo ethoxylation during manufacture. The fragrance-free product line removes the undisclosed fragrance component that the FDA's trade secret provision permits other manufacturers to conceal behind a single ingredient declaration. The cost differential between the Honest Company and Johnson's Baby Shampoo at equivalent volume is approximately $3 to $5 per bottle. For consumers, the transparency is pre-purchase, independently testable, and on public record. The restricted ingredients list is published at honest.com. The surfactant chemistry avoids ethoxylation, and independent third-party testing confirmed no detectable 1,4-dioxane. Baby Ganix Baby Shampoo uses a plant-derived surfactant system that structurally prevents the formation of 1,4-dioxane, not by filtering it out, but by avoiding the chemistry that generates it. The product retails between $7 and $10. The 2019 Citizen Campaign for the Environment independent testing detected no 1,4-dioxane in the Baby Ganix Baby Shampoo formulation. Baby Ganix was acquired by SC Johnson in 2016. Its formulation retains the plant-based surfactant architecture established at its founding. The surfactant system excludes sodium lauryl sulfate, PEG-based foaming agents, and the ethoxylated ingredient class present in Dreft, Baby Magic, and Johnson's Baby Shampoo. The formulation does not use diamdium-hydantoin, imidazolidinal urea, or quaternium-15, the formaldehyde-releasing preservative class at the center of the J&J campaign for safe cosmetics case. The fragrance-free product line removes the undisclosed fragrance ingredient the FDA permits manufacturers to protect as a trade secret. The absence of detectable 1,4-dioxane in the 2019 independent test is not a brand claim made on packaging. It is a measured result from the same study that found 10,000 ppb in Dreft and 7,600 ppb in Baby Magic. The formulation choices that produce that outcome are verifiable against the product's ingredient list before purchase. No ethoxylated surfactants, no formaldehyde-releasing preservatives, no undisclosed fragrance. For consumers, the safety case is located in the chemistry. Eliminate ethoxylated ingredients, and 1,4-dioxane cannot form as their byproduct. Across all 8 brands, the mechanism that delivers the same outcome is consistent: a regulatory permission to use a cheaper surfactant process, an undisclosed fragrance system, or a dual geography ingredient standard, passed directly to the infant whose parent trusts the label they are reading. In baby shampoo, tearless is not a carcinogen screen. Hypoallergenic is not a contact allergen review. Dermatologist recommended is not an endorsement from the society that named the product's surfactant allergen of the year. The 2 products that tested clean share one structural feature: they do not use ethoxylated surfactants. Check the ingredient list for sodium lauryl sulfate. If it is there, the 2019 data tells you what comes with it. If you found this informative, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.